Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. So right now, looking at this current Bitcoin price action, you can see on my previous video, we talked about scenario. The price breakout could actually lead us to exactly at this air to target level of 24,200 price level. And if we look at the price movement right now, guys, the price also came exactly at our target level. And since then, we are finding rejection. I mean, we made a new high and now we are seeing some sort of a price pullback. I also said, you guys, if this is not going to be a symmetrical triangle, we could also look this as a descending triangle. And even though this descending triangle is looked as a bearish scenario, I'd also stated that clearly this breakout out of this descending triangle would lead us to exact target of 24,200. And look at this, guys, the price also came exactly at our target area, right? But what is actually unfolding right now, since the air2 line, the 24,200 price level acted as a resistance? Are we actually going to break higher, or are we going to see some sort of a price pullback before moving to the upside? Because now, if you look at this price movement right now in a 4-hour time frame, you can see the price here made new high in a 4-hour time frame, but this is a clear sign here, guys. To the downside, this awesome oscillator is pointing out bearish divergence. Along with this rejection from the air2 line, we actually could see, hey, now there is a possibility of price seeing some sort of a pullback. So if that's going to happen, if we are going to see any sort of a price pullback, this scenario is what I'm actually looking at. If we look at the price movement here, we are following this ascending channel very nicely, right? Upper line acted as a resistance and the lower line actually gave us a support. So since we are approaching the lower line area, if the price of Bitcoin is not going to find support, what could be the case? Breaking out of this ascending channel and trying to re-enter and then getting a pullback around the 22,000 R1 target level. So to the downside, this green line here is the monthly R1 level. And for those people watching this video right now and saying like, hey, what's the R1 target level? This is the central pivot range target level, the monthly pivot line, guys. And if you are new to my channel, watching this for the first time, the link regarding the CPI trading video must be popping up right now. So feel free to check that out. As you can see, right, I said you, this price movement here, the bearish divergence is showing us right now that, hey, this price movement is finding difficulty to break to the upside. But if the price does manage to actually follow this ascending channel, guys, I'm actually expecting the price could make another new all-time high before seeing any sort of a price pullback. Because on the right hand side, if we look at this scenario here, to the downside, you can see, guys, this is a 2020 price scenario. To the upside, this is a fractal here from 2019. So as you can see, if the price of Bitcoin is going to pan out exactly like the fractal here, what we are witnessing, the area where we are, price hesitation after breaking out of the symmetrical triangle, and after that you can see we had this massive parabolic move here to the upside. So if that is the case, if Bitcoin is also at the similar scenario, building this move here right now, then this movement here, guys, could also, I mean, the small hesitation or pullback around 23,000, 22,000 could still be on the line, as I've already said you, right? So this means if we are going to find support above this price level, we could also expect a move to the upside, because I would show you this scenario here. On the left hand side, you can see this price movement is very, very interesting, because if you understand this parabolic curve scenario, I actually did show you one parabolic curve scenario which played out till base 4, but I showed you guys after base 4 we should see a pullback. We did saw a pullback in the price action of Bitcoin, and then again a move to the upside, which actually didn't play out exactly like what we said. But still, if I include this parabolic curve scenario in a daily time frame right now, guys, this here, base 1, base 2, base 3 and base 4. So the most price correction happens after price reaches the base 4 area. So in our case, if this scenario is going to play out where we get a massive break to the upside, guys, which is our target area, for that I'm actually going to include the monthly CPI target area, because you can see this monthly CPI area target has been reached here. Now if the next possible breakout is going to happen, then that's going to take us all the way around 28,600 price level. So after reaching that, this whole parabolic curve scenario is going to pan out perfectly, guys. So after that, we should be expecting a price correction, pullback around the base 3 area. And this is what I can actually show you right now with this price structure at this current stage. And also, guys, if we look at the price action of Bitcoin here in a daily time frame, you can see with a bit different scenario, you can also notice this accumulation cylinder with widening mouth. If you know, I have actually talked about this scenario already in one of my videos, looking at the Ethereum price action as an example. But if you look at this right now, this accumulation cylinder with widening mouth from LIVERMORE speculative chart, this is also one scenario that could be playing out right now for Bitcoin, because according to this scenario here, where we are. This is a very interesting scenario because look at this. This upper line which previously acted as a resistance is still a resistance, because if this is actually going to see any sort of a pullback, guys, you should still keep this in mind that this is still a very, very bullish move, because you can see this pullback here, this 0.7. If we are going to see any sort of a price pullback, this 0.7 move could be playing out right now. As I've already said you, we have a bearish divergence, and also we are getting rejection from the R2 monthly resistance line. So if this is the case, if we are going to see any sort of a price pullback, we should still look at this as a very, very bullish move, because you can see after that we could see this massive move here to the upside, which could pan out at this green line, right? You can see this green line, which is around 28,600 price level. So this is one scenario which I am actually looking right now for Bitcoin. And not only Bitcoin, guys, today I'm also going to look at Ethereum price action. So now if we look at this price action of Ether in a weekly time frame, guys, you can see in a weekly the price of Ether does looks very, very bullish. And if you remember one thing, this price movement, I actually gave you a very nice scenario how you can actually identify the breakout for the long term. So if you are actually looking at this in a weekly time frame also for Ether, guys, the Ether chart right now does looks very, very bullish. Why? Because I told you with one example how I actually like to enter for the long term. I showed you guys with so many different examples, and I also gave you a criteria what I'm actually looking at. The first criteria to enter the market for the long term, the price, right, be consolidating inside for the longer time frame. I mean, the price must be trapped inside this parallel channel for the longer time frame, right? So first thing, and if we would see any sort of a breaking out of this parallel channel, the second thing must also give us a confirmation, and that was the volume, guys. So I said you guys, if volume is giving a confirmation that the price is going to get a breakout out of this, that is going to be a second confirmation. The third confirmation would be the 20 weekly moving average, or you can also add the 30 weighted moving average, doesn't matter. So you can see this 20, right, weighted moving average is what I'm actually using it right now. So the price must also be above this 20 weighted moving average. So you can also use the weekly moving average. I've tried it, it has worked, so no problem. And the final thing what I actually like to look is the RSI histogram, okay? Because you know, I said if this all four criteria is going to play out, then only we are going to take long position. So now let's look at the price action of Ethereum. So is everything playing out exactly like what we expected? Because now I said you guys, first what we will be looking at is a long-term consolidation phase. So for Ether, we did had since August 2018, the price was trapped inside this parallel channel, because you can see the price here failed to break out of it. So we were trapped between this parallel channel for the longer time frame. But once we actually broke out of it, you can see we broke out of this parallel channel, and the same resistance line, this was the resistance line, acted as a support, which gave us a very strong confirmation that this trend now is going to continue further in an upper direction. So now you can see long-term consolidation phase breakout happened. One indication, did the volume actually give us the confirmation that this breakout is a real breakout? You can see to the downside compared to the previous week, you can see exactly the volume did actually give us a confirmation of a breakout, because compared to the previous week, you can see this breakout has a really nice volume kicking in. So we had these two confirmation, price breaking out of this long-term parallel channel, right? And also the volume confirm it. The third thing would be price must be above this 20 weighted moving average, or you can also use the weekly moving average. Which one suits you best? You can use that, right? You can see in our case right now, for example, this 20 weighted moving average, the price is also above it. So now we have three confirmation, and the final confirmation was the histogram. You can see here to the downside, this RSI histogram alert. So if we look at this here, the price must be above zero level. So this means if this histogram is above the zero level, we are at the positive territory. So we have this four confirmation. When we had this breakout here, the price was above this 20 weighted moving average, broke out of this longer term consolidation phase, I mean this parallel channel, volume confirm it, and also the RSI histogram. That's why I was talking about why I was so bullish on Ether since the early days, right? I told you when I was doing this video, the price was maybe around this 200 price level, and now we are already around this 647. I still believe the price of Ether could go way higher, right? So that's why, guys, in a weekly time frame, we can see the price of Ether does looks very, very bullish. So now if we look at this in a smaller time frame, so now if we look at this price action right now, the price of Ether USD in hourly time frame, you can see the trend right now looks very bullish. I mean, the trend is heading clearly to the upside because the rising trend line is showing us the possible trend direction. And also, if you monitor this price movement here, right, along this rising trend line, you can see this is a very interesting area because you can notice that each and every resistance line, the previous resistance line, is going to be a very strong support. I mean, if you look at this scenario here, right, previous resistance line acted as a support before making another move to the upside. And same way, guys, resistance, you can see once we were above it, this same line which previously acted as a resistance is a very, very strong support along with this rising trend line here. And then we again had this move here to the upside. And now look at this resistance, and the same resistance line is actually acting as a support. So if there is any sort of a price pullback right now for Ether, you can see this previous line, which previously acted as a resistance, is going to be a very strong support around the 630, 620 price level. So even if you would go even lower, guys, you can see the rising trend line is also there, which previously acted as a support. And this could also be another support for Ether around this 615 price level if we are going to see any sort of a price pullback at this current stage. But looking at this scenario in a whole, there might be some sort of a price pullback, right? That is normal because you can see this is a very massive move here to the upside, but this is the type of movement what I'm actually expecting, because even if we are going to see any sort of a pullback, we could find support and still continue journey to the upside, guys. So guys, this is what I actually wanted to share with you in today's video. I hope this video was helpful enough. So if that's the case, hit the like button, and also if you're watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. So by saying this, I'm signing off. My name is Anup. Bye bye, guys.